Dynasty Warriors 7 was my first experience with the modern Warriors games. I was blown away by the graphical upgrade from Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires on the PlayStation 2. The series finally reached the HD next-gen era of gaming on the PlayStation 3 after the rough experience of Dynasty Warriors 6, which was basically a PS2 port to the next gen if anything. I still remember my first experience with 7 fondly. The improved UI, the character designs, the music, the classic combat with modern fluidity, and of course, the best part of 7 that is unmatched to this day, the storytelling. Oh Lord, the storytelling. For the first time ever, I cared about these generic fighters of old. No longer were they just warriors, but people, characters with personality. I was hooked immediately following the Yellow Turban Rebellion at Shahoduin. I just had to keep going, and my first emotional moment was watching Dian Wei get uncomfortable with Shu Zhu, telling him how they'll tend the fields and feed the people together. Seeing these warriors as humans was truly unbelievable. It's been 13 years since the game first released onto the world. To think it's over a decade old. I'm getting old myself. Let us see how well the game holds up after all these years in what is my favorite entry to date.
Come on, man, put your back into it.
One massive change to Musou Mode that was introduced in Dynasty Warriors 7 that was sadly scrapped in later games was the improved storytelling. For the first time ever, they were humanized from these generic warriors to people with personality and character. Before, I couldn't care less who lived and who died, except for Sun Jian. I will always cry for him.
Father, listen,
Sir. The enemy commander has been slain!
Father!
No! They mustn't escape!
Father? Father!
I'm sorry. My death will only hurt you more.
You can't die. I still haven't said...
Please. My son. You must lead the people your own way.
So for the first time ever, we saw more cinematic storytelling, from the chaos of war to the relationships between characters, watching people have fun together, or even watching them pass on. The music and art direction aid in the emotional storytelling. I can't help but still cry as Dian Wei sacrifices himself for Tao Tao to escape.
No one is getting past me! Go now! Escape while you still can!
I will not apologize, but I will make your dream a reality.
Don't let him get away. After him!
My lord, promise me you will make our dream of a new world a reality. Sorry, Shuju. Maybe we'll tend your field together another time.
Afterwards, his anger for his would-be assassins wanting to avenge Dian Wei I felt Tao Tao's emotions, and the music kicks in as wave forces storm the castle. I was invested for the first time ever in these characters and their dynamics, playing through each faction one by one, with the newest inclusion being Jin, who you should play last. Now we can finally experience Sima Yi's path to betrayal and building the foundation of what would later become the Jin dynasty that would rule over China for a long period of time. This story mode is full of character and is a long experience. Unlike past games, the Musou Mode is packed with content. After the combat of Dynasty Warriors 6 was rightfully scrutinized, they went back to the drawing board and just said fuck it. Let's just remake the old combat system with the combos and everything, but change the Musou to now be a unique move per character's weapon. The end. And you know what? It just works. In fact, it's satisfying to use this combat and try out different characters and their weapons. You can now even use a secondary weapon, so you have your unique weapon and whatever else you want to use. Though, depending on your main weapon, you will have a compatibility rating. This means certain weapons are paired better than others and offer more bonuses, but your Musou will always be your main weapon. So Lu Bu will spawn a ball of energy to blow crowds away, even if he uses Sun Jian's sword. Another thing about the combat that I will never forgive is the removal of the jump strong attack. So this means if you jump and try to strong attack, nothing happens. You can only jump light attack. Why? This was in there since the classic era of games. Why remove a basic combat move like jump strong attack? Oh well, it's not a deal breaker, but my memory wants to use it all the time, especially in crowds like in the older games. Kind of like going back to Dynasty Warriors 2, but there was no recovery button with the L1 button. That was only added into Dynasty Warriors 3 onwards. Thankfully though, another addition to the combat is a second Musou attack. Depending on the character weapon, you may have to jump to use it, or press and hold R1. You can also use skill points earned during gameplay, or bought in Legend mode, to unlock new abilities like the second Musou, and increase stats.
Is that all you lot have? Dianwei!
Oh, it's a demon! Lord Liu Bei! Save us!
Someday soon, your head will be mine.
My lord, wake up.
I was dreaming.
This entry brought back a few characters removed from Dynasty Warriors 6, those being Zhurong, Jian Wei, Sheng Sai, and Dai Xiao. Meanwhile, the new characters are abundant. For Wei, we have Tai Wenji and Jiashu. For Wu, we have Dunfen and Liang Shi. For Shu, we have Liu Shan, Ma Dai, Guansuo, and Bao Sanyan. Then for Jin, for being the new faction, they got the most newcomers. Outside of Sima Yi, for this faction, the newcomers are Sima Shi, Sima Zhao, Dan Ai, Wang Juan, Shuan Hui, Shu Gedan, Xiao Hoba, and Guo Huai.
The traitors have taken his head and fled to Wu!
Jump, Ray,
Dynasty Warriors 7 didn't offer a free mode. This caused controversy with the fans, but honestly, I'm fine with it not being here, as Conquest Mode offers tons of more things to do, with different scenarios to play with, interacting with all the different characters, with what-if scenarios and all types of stuff. Building bonds with them and summoning them to aid you in battle, getting new weapons and loads of gold to buy new stuff, exploring the capital of every territory to meet various characters, traders, and even the scholar, who gives you quizzes. If you answer all these quizzes correctly, you will get unique rewards. These are not easy questions, and you will indeed be challenged if you are not a hardcore Three Kingdoms fanboy. Chris Gildart, you've been summoned. The last bit about Conquest Mode to talk about is the DLC. With these, you have remakes of older stages from Dynasty Warriors 2, 3, and 5. Mostly Dynasty Warriors 2, with every single stage being playable. This is awesome, seeing these classic PlayStation 2 stages remade in HD. There's some cons to them, such as the atmosphere isn't accurate. The Yellow Turban stage, for example, doesn't have the sandy tone and fog. Also, Hulao Gate doesn't have the snow in various areas, unlike in Dynasty Warriors 2. But that doesn't bother me. I still enjoy these classic stage remakes, especially because they appear in Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires as well. Xtreme Legends introduces a new mode called Legend Mode. Here, you're in charge of a rundown town and must restore it over time, gain new titles, and complete various battles, which are mostly random forgettable battles. Though there's a few Xtreme Legends unique stages where it follows certain characters, to which if you don't play as them, they just appear alongside everyone else. But in the cutscenes, they're all about these certain characters that were introduced in Xtreme Legends, or others who did not get any screen time really in the main story of the base game. As you upgrade your town, new facilities become available, such as a blacksmith, traveling trader, and scholar. You can appoint one unique officer to be in charge of things, which changes the mood of town and in turn changes some stuff up. But overall, this mode is pretty forgettable and is just more stuff to do instead of meaningful stuff. Aside of the unique stages such as Guan Ping trying to prove himself to his father, or Xiahou Ba escaping Jin forces to join with Shu, the mode is just not that worthwhile. It's good if you need to get your weapons tended to by the smith, or to get more gold, or buy stat increases from the scholar. Overall, it's okay, but after the story mode, it's hard to go back to this more old school generic battle mode of just random fights like the older games. It's just a bit jarring.
Lord Liu Shan. Lord Liu Shan. I've been looking for you. Do you know what time it is?
Not really.
It's time for your training.
I'm sorry, but I don't feel so well today.
How long do you think you can keep using the same excuse? Okay, let's go and get your sword.
You are always so strict.
For the first time ever, I shall cover the challenge mode. I know, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria and all that, but for this game, I shall make an exception. We'll start out by talking about the mechanics of the mode. You can select any officer and weapon you want, except everyone has their default stats and weapons, so no matter what you have unlocked, you must use the weakest weapons and your stats don't matter anymore, making the combat more grindy and challenging. Which makes sense, I guess. All officers are available in the mode right away too. As for the challenges, we have Rampage, where you must defeat as many troops and officers as possible within the time limit or till you're KO'd. Bridge Melee is about knocking enemies off the edges of the platform you're on. They can knock you down and you can easily fall off as well. They cannot take damage, but do get knocked around by your attacks. Speed run involves you trying to reach the destination as fast as possible. And finally, arena is fighting every officer over and over again, getting as many KOs as possible within the time limit or till you're KO'd yourself. We'll start with Rampage mode. Here, you fight within the castle walls, taking on troops and officers continuously spawning in. Every time you defeat an officer, another appears to challenge you. You will only fight a small selection of officers here and see them come back over and over again. You gain items by defeating Lu Bu to get a recover all item. Lu Bu appears after a while to challenge you. When defeated, other officers and troops will swarm the area. Rinse and repeat till you're defeated or you survive the timer. There's no rewards for challenge mode, it's just a tacked on experience, which is what it always was and will always be. For bridge melee, you must knock the troops and officers off the platform bridge to get KOs. If you get knocked off, it's game over. You can easily fall off the platform, and certain officers clearly benefit more from this challenge than others. I do not recommend this challenge and found it boring, as the enemies cannot be damaged, only knocked around. To see common troops survive Musou after Musou and just stand there waiting for you to knock them off the bridge got old pretty quick. Speed run involves you trying to get to the destination as fast as possible. The location is clearly Guan Yu's Escape from Dynasty Warriors 3 Reimagined. You get items from defeated officers and they can easily kill you alongside their archers, cavalry, ballistas, pyro cannons, and arbalasks. Also, the more you progress, you'll attract Lu Bu to chase you down, and he is fast. So if you don't want to fight him, plow through the officers guarding the gate to get past and reach your end goal. I barely made it in the end, and while I didn't enjoy this challenge, or any of the challenges to be exact, it's probably the most enjoyable of the 4. Speaking of 4, Arena is the 4th and final challenge. Here, you're in the arena map, just fighting every single unique officer over and over again till the timer is up or you're defeated. You get no items in this mode, including healing. So, it's a gauntlet endurance experience. I got 68 kills before losing. Not a fun mode without items and better weapons. In fact, that's the problem with challenge mode altogether. You can't progress. Feel like a warrior. You feel like a common troop. And getting easily knocked around and defeated. The last I want to experience in a Warriors game is what it's like to be the peasant soldier. The lowest rank and weakest troop in the series, so challenge mode overall is a waste of time and not fun. They should just can this mode altogether in future games.
Master Ding Fong. What were you thinking?
I was just fondly recalling the beautiful sights of Wu. Lord Sun Quan, Master Lu Xuan, Master Gan Ning. The sight of them, laughing and having a good time.
It sure is lonely without them.
Yes. However, like a flame that cannot be extinguished, those of us remaining must pursue their dream. To protect our land of Wu, our home, the beautiful kingdom we worked so hard to build.
You are right.
The soundtrack has seen an overhaul. Akin to Dynasty Warriors 6, 7 focuses more on grand scale, with more emotional tracks and less generic and techno of old. In fact, there's not really any techno anymore. Outside of returning music from Dynasty Warriors 2 and whatnot for the DLC stages and Extreme Legends stages that take you back to Dynasty Warriors 2, 4, and 5, respectively. The music this time around tries to bring more emotion to cutscenes and battles, such as when Shu Zhu tries to get Dian Wei to learn to farm with him, and Xiao Yuan joins in. Seeing these once generic fighters actually be human was unparadox for the time. It was a step in the right direction. I cried when Dian Wei sacrificed himself so Cao Cao could escape. I could feel the rage Cao Cao felt in wanting to avenge Dian Wei afterwards, bringing an army to kill his would-be assassins. The music has its happy moments, sad moments, angry moments, and adrenaline moments. It's truly a unique breed, still unmatched to this day by any other Warriors game. The PC port is a mixed bag, as to be expected from Tecmo Koei, which sucks because this is the only real problem with Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends Definitive Edition. Of course, outside of the mediocre challenge mode, which I hope they never bring back. It's just a tacked on mode to give you a false sense of a more value for your money. Anyways, the PC port has its problems in controls or the lack of, stability, performance, and of course, backwards Japanese button input. You cannot use the D-pad for anything in the game. The circle/B button is confirm, and the X/A button is to cancel. This is the Japanese layout, not Western. We in the West have always used X/A to confirm and circle/B to cancel. Outside of Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation 1, that is. I will never get used to this, and have made many countless canceling things through the UI. Sadly, you cannot change this in the settings. It's hard-coded. The next problem in the PC port is stability and performance. The game will crash randomly, especially during Musou attacks. It also likes to slow down randomly for no reason, no matter your settings and PC specs. I'm guessing that this is the engine choking on itself because Omega Force still hasn't figured out that less is more, as we don't need all these pointless soldiers on screen just standing around doing nothing. At the end of the day, Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends Definitive Edition is truly the peak of the entire Warriors franchise in terms of quality and quantity, from the improved and still unmatched storytelling to the epic soundtrack, humanizing the officers into characters that you want to see succeed, cry when they die, and hate as much as other characters hate. Truly an unmatched gem of Warriors, all bundled together for $20. This game is indeed the definitive edition, and a game worth your time, as it was mine.
This peace is but a mere dream.
If only the war were over, for good. My lord, what are...
Everyone! Let us enjoy this!